the greatest chef alive. It is not every day that one is summoned to coffee by a cultural figure of that stature, but just such a twist of fate came to me one winter afternoon in 2014. I was working as a food writer on staff at the New York Times when an email arrived in my clogged inbox from Peter Titiger, an operative at Phaidon, the publishing house that had put out Redzepi's cookbook and journal. Books that were studied and parsed by chefs the way that songwriters and rock scholars had once geeked out on lyrics and liner notes. Redzepi wanted to meet me. My inclination was to say no. I can't explain why a food writer from the Times would feel compelled to decline a face-to-face conversation with a man reputed to be the greatest chef alive. But the older I get, the more I find it liberating to say no. Most of the existing self-help literature seems to nudge us in that direction, doesn't it? Learn how to say no. But really, I was just busy. There were multiple deadlines to juggle. There were staff meetings to endure. There were baseball games and piano recitals and family dinners to race home to. Some part of me thought, God help me, this Danish guy is going to hector me for 2 hours about the principles of the New Nordic movement. The New Nordic movement was the culinary juggernaut out of Scandinavia that claimed Redzepi as its chieftain. In 2004, Redzepi and his comrades, like agents of some French surrealist collective, had released a gastronomic manifesto outlining the rules and aspirations that would govern their cooking in the years to come. Among its objectives were to express the purity, freshness, simplicity, and ethics we wish to associate with our region, and to promote animal welfare and a sound production process in our seas, on our farmland, and in the wild. In the early phase of his kitchen career, as the journalist Tien Lan Ho has written, Redzepi was expected to fall in line with his mentors and cook French classics, and for a while he did. Soon, though, Redzepi had the epiphany that his food should not only be made with, but entirely shaped by, what he found in the forest, on the beach, and in the hands of local farmers. In practice, this meant that berries ripe for a mere 2 weeks a year and plucked by a Swedish farmer uninterested in selling them were more luxurious than imported caviar. He served them in a bowl with minimal adornment. He made terroir, the soil, the climate, and the land that shape the flavor of the plant and the animal that eats it, more than jargon. He made it the entire point of his cuisine. The impact of these ideas had escalated during half a decade, moving from the margins to a position of pulsing centrality. Pretty soon, the de facto boondoggle for an American food writer was a trip to Copenhagen to go foraging on the beach with Redzepi, nibbling inquisitively on snatches of scurvy grass and sorrel, bellflowers, and beach mustard. Denmark, after all, isn't Provence or Catalonia, Frank Bruni wrote after one such reverie on the dunes. For a locavore chef in particular, it has limitations. But Mr. Redzepi has air-dried, pickled, cured, foraged, and researched his way around them. He has taken what could be a set of ankle weights and turned them into wings, his culinary accomplishments drawing all the more regard for the degree of geographical difficulty built into them. Inspiring stuff, noble stuff, especially for a planet on the brink of ecological catastrophe caused, in part, by the industrial rapacity built into our food supply. I just wasn't in the mood. My marriage was falling apart. 2 weeks earlier, I had moved out of the house where my 2 children lived. Depression rolled into my days like a toxic fog. On a cold day in February, I didn't think I had the patience to conjure up a rictus grin of pretend curiosity while I listened to a visionary from Copenhagen prattling on about his manifesto. Making things even more complicated, I had sort of made fun of Redzepi's ethos in the pages of the Times, even though, up until that point, I had never